The year was 1982. The house was empty and I was in my parents' bedroom flipping through channels on their 13-inch black and white TV. Where were my parents, my brother, and my sister? I have no idea. All I know is that I was 11 at the time, and I was bored, slowly turning that clunky UHF dial, and then I stumbled on something. It was Channel 44, the same channel that I usually tuned into for Space Giants, Speed Racer, and Ultraman. Oh, but what I had found was definitely not a kids' show. The screen was all wavy and distorted, but I could make out some faces, some movement, and I could kind of see what was going on, but not really. And then I saw a woman, I think. It looked like there was kissing, perhaps an amorous couple in the throes of passion. It vaguely resembled something very taboo that I was not meant to see. I didn't know what I was looking at, but I definitely needed to see more. I knew nothing about TVs or tinkering with electronics, but some primal instinct caused me to reach for the TV's tuning knobs to get a clearer picture. I'm not sure that I even knew what those little knobs were for, but I had to see what was waving and flickering on the screen. It was driving me insane. And against all odds, it worked. Kind of. The picture was still a wavy, distorted mess on one side, but for the most part, the rest of the picture was clear. And it was glorious. So, just like that, 11-year-old me was suddenly sitting there, completely agog, watching literal corn on my parents' TV. Sorry, YouTube doesn't like that other word. Let's just call it corn. To understand how this was possible for not just me, but probably thousands of kids across America, we need look no further than the late 1970s, the dawn of what would eventually become the cable TV era. Oh, and by the way, if you watch until the end, you'll get to hear the story of what my dad did when he caught me watching corn in the family room. I probably shouldn't share that, but I'm gonna. So, long before Comcast started running coaxial cables into just about every home in the US, ONTV rolled out their service in Los Angeles with a scrambled UHF signal that could be unscrambled with a decoder box. It was called Subscription TV, or STV for short. ONTV adopted the tagline, "First in movies, first in sports." They showed Jaws, Hooper, Blazing Saddles, and a movie called Hardcore, which, by the way, was not corn, but incidentally, it was about the corn industry. Hilarious poster, by the way. ONTV also made deals to broadcast just about every LA sports team there was. The Lakers, the Kings, the Dodgers, the California Angels, and even LA's two soccer teams, the Aztecs and the Surf. For a $50 installation fee and $20 a month, the service was pretty expensive for the time, but the LA market just ate it up. With 200,000 subscribers in LA alone, ONTV was the largest subscription TV service in existence, and they expanded into cities like Phoenix, Miami, Philadelphia, Dallas, and Chicago, where they leased airtime from Channel 44 starting at either 5 p.m. or 7 p.m., depending on the day. At first, ONTV was content to show movies and sports, but they eventually realized that their subscriber base was basically dying to watch corn in the privacy of their own homes. You see, prior to the emergence of STV and the video rental boom of the early 80s, people typically had to leave the house and go somewhere if they wanted to watch corn, and they knew where the dirty movies were playing because the listings were right there in the newspaper alongside mainstream movie showtimes. So in 1981, ONTV started offering an adult movie package that would add another $5 to $10 per month to the bill, depending on where you were located, and it was wildly successful.
ONTV now presents Adults Only, an optional programming service intended strictly for mature audiences. The subject matter includes material of an adult nature, which may be objectionable.
On average, 48% of all ONTV subscribers were down to clown, with some markets opting in at a much higher rate. In Miami, 70% of ONTV subscribers wanted the smut. In Dallas-Fort Worth, 89% said, yes, we want corn. And of course, there was backlash. Local news broadcasts pounced on the story with deep investigative reports. Some homes get corn on TV whether they want it or not, crowed this news station, with their highly accurate depiction of the new normal in American homes. Not to be outdone, this news station warned parents. Last night, Susie learned the facts of life. By mistake. Look, she's even got her bowl of popcorn. Local newspapers started running stories about the evils of corn and how young 11-year-old Asian boys would be corrupted for life. I might have made that last part up. But there was definitely concern among parents and churchgoers, with one clergyman reporting that a parishioner said that he saw sex and full nudity in ONTV's late-night programming. Pearls were clutched, ladies fainted, and ONTV responded swiftly with, yeah, whatever. What ONTV showed was definitely dirty, trust me, I know, but it wasn't the kind of uncensored filth that corn haters were probably imagining. ONTV was showing what was known in the STV biz as hard R, meaning there was wall-to-wall nudity and, shenanigans, if you will, but they stopped short of actually showing tab A going into slot B. I suppose these days we'd call it NC-17, but that movie rating didn't become a thing until 1990. In 1981, ONTV was raking in the cash from all of the corn subscriptions and their rapid subscriber growth. But at the very same time, their ship was rapidly sinking due to rampant piracy and the birth of what would become an unstoppable cable TV boom that offered 20 to 30 channels instead of just one that showed corn at night. For people with just a tiny bit of know-how, pirating ONTV's UHF signal was comically simple, and one person in a Reddit thread even said that his high school class built and sold ONTV decoders as an unofficial fundraising strategy. ONTV was riding high for a while, but in 1982, their growth came to a screeching halt. By 1983, ONTV shut down their broadcasts in Detroit, Phoenix, and the very horny market of Dallas-Fort Worth. In 1984, ONTV acquired 28,000 subscribers from a smaller STV provider called Spectrum, their competitor in the Chicago market, which folded, but even that wasn't going to stop the inevitable. In 1985, after an 8-year run as the undisputed king of subscription TV, ONTV shut down operations in Chicago, its final stronghold, and sadly, I lost my access to wiggly but free corn. But before that, there was the night my dad caught me watching it. First, I want to say that I loved my dad. He was a great guy, and we had a wonderful relationship despite all of the outrageously stupid things I did as a child and young adult. So, with that said, this is the layout of my childhood home, part of it anyway, and that guy on the couch is my father. My mom and dad were having some, marital challenges, so my dad slept on the couch most nights. Now, having discovered and more or less mastered unscrambling on TV, I really wanted to see some nasty, and I got this incredibly stupid idea. I knew my dad was a heavy sleeper, like you could start lighting off M80s and he wouldn't hear a thing. And he pretty much always slept with the TV on. So, like an idiot, I started sneaking in through the living room, which gave me a little cover in case he was awake. And while my dad was snoring away on the couch, I tiptoed over to the Zenith TV and changed it to channel 44. I turned the tuner knob to get a good picture, and then I hid myself behind the sofa on the right. Yeah, like I said, I was a total buffoon, but I got away with this so many times. After seeing some action, I would change the channel to something else and go back to bed. I did this over and over and over, and eventually, my dad woke up while the TV was on channel 44 while I was hidden behind the couch, and he was no doubt wondering what the heck was going on. And then I accidentally gave up my position by kicking the vertical blinds that were hanging over the window just above me. My dad, who was probably still half asleep, he growled a little bit, gave me a little slap on the butt, and he sent me back to bed. But here's the funny part. After things had cooled down a bit, I went for it again. I tiptoed into the living room, and guess what my dad had on the TV? Yes, thanks to his genius, perverted son, my dad discovered the magic of free corn, courtesy of ONTV. After that night, we never really talked about it out loud, but he would occasionally hear me lurking in the living room, quietly watching, and from the couch, he would calmly tell me to go to bed. We had some differences over the years, but honestly, my dad was really cool. He passed away in 2019 at the ripe old age of 80. Thank you for taking this trip down memory lane with me.